Welcome to another Surreal by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to SPbN By Night, where we play St. Petersburg by Night. Tonight we play Bloody Strings, one of the many chronicles we play here, and I am Edwin Cain, your humble storyteller. These are my lovely players. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Chuck EXE, and I play Drake Monahan, the brash Bahari Bruja.
Kindle the Elemental on TikTok, and I'm playing Maggie Haywood the Hikata.
Hello, I'm Lakar the Artificer on TikTok, and I am playing once again the well-dressed ne'er-do-well Toreador, Matthew Halden.
Hey, I'm Mew, and I'll be playing Sophie Clues, the malted milkshake Malkavian.
Thank you very much. Now, last we left off, there was a hurricane. You all had gone to the Dali, a refuge for the kindred during the storm. After one of you seeing some unpleasant guests decided that you needed somewhere private, you made an arrangement to stay in Edwin's office. It is at this point that things began to escalate. A spirit seemed to capitalize on the chaos of the storm. Maggie and Drake went to see what they could do about it, and after great effort, managed to expel the spirit from the property, but not before the shades that follow began to possess the ghouls in the vessels downstairs, where Matthew and Sophie were in the middle of a ballroom blitz, so to speak. After dealing with the cloud, the spirit, everything calmed down. Matthew uncovered a couple of individuals that seemed to be hiding within the vessels and security at the Dali, revealing to be hunters, many of which were dispatched by the Bruja Primogen and somebody who worked for Edwin Cain. Edwin being flayed before two of our Coterie's eyes within his office in the midst of the chaos. And that is where we're going to pick up. Deep beneath the Dali Museum, the hurricanes rage as a distant rumble, muffled by layers of concrete and steel. The interrogation room, stark and industrial, is a place where time seems to slow, where the sterile air presses in from all sides. The walls are bare metal, gleaming under a harsh overhead lighting, devoid of windows or any sense of the world outside. In this cold, controlled space, the sound of the door sliding open is the only break in the oppressive silence. Primogen Gabriel steps inside. His presence immediate and commanding. His sharp features carry the weight of authority, but it is his stillness that strikes you first. He moves in with a deliberate precision, his every step calculated, his posture unnervingly calm, and his expression unreadable. A mask of cold confidence that gives nothing away. There's an intensity in the air that thickens with his arrival, though the door itself bends to his will. He takes his place at the head of the table. Quietly stalking behind him is Mr. McTeer, standing in the back against the wall, watching you. Mr. McTeer
Good evening.
speaks. Oh, go ahead.
Good evening. How is everyone? Cozy, I hope.
Well, we yelled at a cloud.
Anything else happen?
I fell from the roof.
And are you okay?
Drake will raise his bandaged arms. Yeah, she put up a good fight. I gotta give it to her. She knows what she's doing.
Anyone else injured?
Matt will lift his arm. Yeah, a little bit.
Edwin met with some injuries.
Some. You wish to clarify?
Oh, you see, it started with, I believe, his left leg. It bent the wrong way, and then his right leg also, which he didn't topple down yet though, because it's almost like he was being held up, and then his right arm was also bent backwards, and then his left, and then he was pinned up against the wall near the books. It knocked a few down. I didn't see the title names. I was a bit preoccupied, so I apologize for that. But then his skin was removed, and I thought maybe it might be okay, but then he became dust. There's no way to come back from that, is there?
Not that I've seen. Who else was in the room when you witnessed this?
I was.
Was this before or after your injury?
Before.
So what happened to your arm?
As me and Miss Clues here were running afterwards, and the melee of everything that was going on outside, I noticed a couple of individuals trying to, what I thought was escape, and decided to pursue them, thinking that they had something to do with the crowd's fit they were having.
So it was you two within the keeper's office.
Yes.
Yes, and there was a third kindred who stopped by before everything happened to Edwin, who may be a very powerful kindred. So perhaps you may want to question him after we have left.
Do you have a name?
I don't know his name, but Bella would know his name, and Charlie also know his name, as he asked for an audience with them. But he wears a lot of orange, and he has a hat.
Orange with a hat.
Yes, and it's an orange hat. So it's he wears orange, and he also has an orange hat. It's not like a typical hat. It's an orange hat as well.
This individual she's talking about in another room.
Okay. Sorry, I actually don't know all of it. I've now been clued in that your name, and he points towards Sophie. Your name is Sophie. Correct.
Yes. Sophie Clues.
Okay. And you, one hurt arm. Your name.
Matthew Holden.
And two hurt arms.
Heyo, big man. I'm Drake Monahan. I had been actually meaning to come say hi and, proffer my greetings in the first place, but things got a bit crazy.
For 2 weeks.
Yes.
Perhaps rules on traditions need to be had. You. And he points towards Maggie.
Maggie Haywood.
Miss Sophie, what is your occupation?
Oh, to think of myself a bit as a singer, but I'm hoping to be a student. I'm enrolling in the fall.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Oh,
Matthew,
thank you.
your occupation.
Restoration and relocation.
Of
Art, specifically.
Miss Maggie, your occupation.
I work in a mortuary as a forensic artist.
And Mr. Drake.
I'm more of a body man. I go where I'm needed and paid to go.
Okay. Just to let you all know, this does not look good for your group. Someone of high renown within this Camarilla has been slain, ripped apart. By unknown means currently, but we have two kindred that have been placed within that room and then running out of said room. Do you have any other defense other than saying that you witnessed Edwin being ripped apart, broken? Anything he said prior?
He was
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Holden.
he was bringing in something to assist with the situation of the building itself. And after it happened, my immediate thought was to leave the room and tell this gentleman here.
And he was leaving his secret area behind a bookcase.
A secret area. He'll turn towards Cahill, a secret area.
God damn it. It's a direct tunnel from his office to this place down here.
Okay.
When the storm started to pick up, it broke the boarding on the dolly. And the problem of the shades that he had been asking me to research, they all started to flood in. He was looking for a way of temporarily reinforcing some kind of barrier to keep them at bay. And I went up to the roof with Mr. Monahan to deal with the larger spirit at here that was hovering over the Elysium in a large cloud.
Previously mentioned Angry Cloud.
It is gone for now. I believe that there have been many spirits, wraiths, shades that have been attempting to come into this dolly in order to get to Mr. Cain in some capacity, or find a way in general.
Miss Haywood, your dealings with things like this, how much experience do you have?
I have a decent amount of experience, but I am still learning.
What's your view on the Camarilla?
The Camarilla saved my life. I'm a member, and I do not regret my decision to join.
Mr. Monahan, your dealings with such things, have you dealt with something like this in the past?
Oh no, this is brand new to me. I was mostly there to protect Miss Haywood.
So Miss Haywood, we're claiming a spirit, something along these lines.
Yes, sir.
Do any of you have any... Do you know where the spirit came from? Do you know its origins at all?
I am still researching into it. I have reason to believe that it is pulling from the rich ley lines in the area, as well as the increased number of supernatural death.
Your coterie has gotten my attention a few times. There's been conversations that the Keeper and I have had. Interesting ones. The way that I currently see it, from what I've seen, and he'll gesture for Kyle to bring him over the dossier.
Silver reveals a folder and drops it in front of Gabriel.
He'll flip it open. Middle of the street. Someone large seems to be confronting someone out in the open, beating them to a pulp and then dragging them off. And he'll flip the picture down the table of a figure that looks like Drake.
Very crude. Looks like it's taken through a car window. But
Do you wish to explain?
Yeah. Our group has a bit of a history of troublemakers following us, and I overreacted, and I had to immediately try to pull the situation somewhere a bit more hidden. But yeah, I went overboard when I shouldn't have, as a reaction. That's on me.
Were you not taught to control your anger and how to use it appropriately?
Oh, well, I wasn't angry, boss. I was just being protective, but that doesn't change the fact that I did fuck up. I admit that.
Also, they are not currently here, but there is a Bellatrix that is part of your coterie, and a gray. Anyone know about any little trips that they've taken outside of St. Petersburg?
We don't keep track of each other's personal business outside of the coterie.
No check-ins at all.
I do know that Bellatrix has many obligations due to her position as the whip, because at least for myself, I am subordinate to her. I wouldn't keep track of her whereabouts.
We have been trying to find Gray. It has been quite some time since we have heard from him.
Have any of you been to Tampa?
No.
Not that I
No.
can say.
Good. Are you all aware of the relationship that St. Petersburg has with Tampa?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
In short, don't go. Plain and simple. They'll slide over some more information. 2 of your coterie mates, for some reason unknown to you all, went over into Tampa and were dabbling over there. Spikes my curiosity on the reasoning why. I'm going to, as a primogen, as something I need to ensure between all of you, especially you, Drake. So we'll go down the line. Drake, what is the first tradition?
Don't break the masquerade.
Correct. Miss Haywood, the second tradition.
Domain?
And Mr. Holden, the third.
Progeny?
Good. Sophie, the fourth.
Always respect your coterie's boundaries.
Close. Back to you, Drake, the fifth.
That'd be hospitality.
And Maggie, once again, the sixth.
Destruction.
So you're all aware of the traditions. What would you say is the most important? As they all are all important, but there's one that we hold above the rest.
The first.
Correct. From what I can tell, now investigations will go through. But from what it looks like, you all have broken the first tradition more than once. And Edwin has covered it up time and time and time again. most recently reaching out to the police and trying to make sure that that doesn't get released further. Not hard to put a stretch and connect these dots with invisible lines that he could have been using this against you all. Pushing, trying to get away from underneath the thumb of Edwin. A spirit, the overall ward for it, is gone. A new spirit comes in. Now, I've dealt with spirits, mages, all sorts of different things within this world, and I've yet to see one do what was done to Edwin. But to Kindred, I have seen them do something to such a body. Seen them break limbs, tear flesh from body and bone.
I mean, he did have a camera system. I presume that, or perhaps it's you. I understand you're very busy. But perhaps if someone were to check those records, you would see that Mr. Halden and I are just terrified in that moment and are not harming Edwin in any way.
We did check the cameras. There are no cameras in Edwin's office. He didn't feel a need for them. Conference room? Sure. What we have is about the time of his death. 2 kindred storming out of his office and charging down the hallway.
This doesn't look good for you all.
Well, don't you just, I don't know, look into our minds and see?
That is not my forte.
And we are still in the middle of a hurricane. Our oracle is not here at this time.
True. And hopefully she is safe. I have other ways of extracting information if no one wants to come clean about what has been done.
Well, I mean, despite what's covering Mr. Halden, I am clean and I am coming forward.
You are all welcome to stay here during this hurricane until it passes. But your cage is St. Petersburg until this investigation is completed. You step or dance around the masquerade even a little. I do not play around with the traditions. I hold them above all else. And the Scourge, he's not too far behind, and he has been very well aware of what is going on here. Do I make myself abundantly clear on what must be done?
Perfectly, Primogen.
Yes, sir.
Crystal.
Actually, I'm not sure what you're asking us to do. Sorry.
Don't fucking leave St. Petersburg. Maintain the traditions. I feel like my rules are relatively easy at this point.
And if things don't go your way, play it nice and cooperate.
And Drake, you and I will have a separate conversation at a different time. Hopefully when your arms are fixed, so you're able to defend yourself further.
Fair enough. Plus, sounds like a good challenge.
I hope so. Any questions further from me? I have some further digging to do on you all. Good. Enjoy your evening. He'll stand up, grab the documents, hand them to Cahill, and walk out.
As he walks out, before Cahill follows, he turns. Mr. Holden,
Yes.
you began pursuing a couple of people toward the door. They turned and shot at you.
That they did.
Who were they?
Acquaintances of someone out to get me.
How long did you know they were here?
I didn't know who they were until right before they shot me. I pursued because I was under the impression that they were responsible for the melee that had followed. I discovered right before they pulled the trigger, literally, that they were after me, I'm guessing.
And why would they be after you?
Because they're working for a man who I used to work with, who's apparently made it his entire personality to dog me at any point in time.
I understand trying to hang on to your kind passions. But maybe when they are garnering the attention of hunters, you may wish to consider a career change.
Oh, the only passion I have right now is finding him and making sure he never does it again.
You're going to have a difficult time doing that with Camaria's eyes on you. Watch your step. He turns and leaves the room. You are alone in this room now. The scene is yours if you want to take a moment to talk amongst yourselves.
Well, he seemed nice.
Oh, he seemed powerful.
I mean, I understand that with the hurricane, we don't have everyone available, but it seems fairly straightforward that they could ask Matthew and I what happened, and they would know if we were lying.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work so well on me. Not because I'm gonna lie to them, but well. And you look at Maggie. Such discipline does not react well to me.
Maggie is just staring straight ahead, kind of blankly, and she pulls her feet up into her chair. Tucks her hands beneath her feet. They
Also,
have very
sorry,
very
Meg.
limited resources at the moment. They during storms people tend to scatter. It may be weeks before the oracle resurfaces underneath the damage. They are working with what they have.
I thought
It is not
it was very rude for Gabriel to say that all of us have broken the masquerade, as Maggie, you have been undoubtedly upholding it to the best of your ability.
That is very sweet, Sophie. Have you ever read the Coterie oath that we took?
Well, Bellatrix told me that to be part of the coterie that we must follow our curiosities, but respect each other and our boundaries, and uphold uphold the Masquerade. That those were the major highlights, I believe.
Under the Camarilla, when you join a coterie, we agree the crimes of one are the crimes of all.
All right, I suppose.
We have to be responsible for each other. I can do my best and be as upholding of a member as I can be. I can be the cammiest cam to ever cam, and I still have to prove that I am worth keeping here. You are very privileged to not have to understand or know that these are things that you have to know in order to live in this society, Sophie. Were you taught the traditions?
Duncan taught me at first how to hunt properly. So far I haven't severely hurt any
How old are you?
kind. Oh, I suppose. It's hard to keep track of time. I was born in 1925. And I guess I became the way that I am around maybe 44 or so.
You're almost 100 years old and you don't know the traditions.
Well, I was gone for a bit, not living quite in this society, so it's Duncan's trying his best, let's say.
Okay.
But
Yes.
really, I don't think I'm the one to worry about. I think I've done pretty well in terms of holding things up. I don't think you have anything to worry about from my end.
I think every kindred can make a mistake at least once.
Usually many.
Yes, Drake
But I
would know
expect
all
her-
about that.
But I expect for people to have better control than to have a mistake in the middle of the street.
Exactly.
We've
never
already
disagreed.
had that conversation.
I did. Never disagreed with you, Miss Haywood.
Maggie will put her feet back on the ground, kind of adjust her chair. They are going to dig into our backgrounds, into who we were before, and where we came from. Do any of you have anything that you're going to try to hide? You don't have to tell me now. It's just a yes or no question.
I mean, I've shared anything that might have been of interest. Can't think of anything else.
Oh well, Maggie, you do know about what happened with Duncan's errand for Edwin. I wouldn't want to bring that up because that may complicate things, even though it was work for Edwin. But I wouldn't. I mean,
Sophie, I need you to assume that any work we did for Edwin, they have, and it may be documented. She'll kind of rub her hand across her mouth and pull away when she feels the dried blood there. Starts scratching at her face a little bit.
would you like a handkerchief?
I need a bath. Please.
Sophie will pull a handkerchief out of her purse and kind of set it down next to Maggie on the table.
Maggie will take it gingerly and just start scrubbing at her face.
You might want to get under the fingernails as well. You did get a bit of blood under there for me. Otherwise, it's just going to end up on your face again if you scratch.
Yes, what exactly did happen up there?
Oh, she stabbed me.
Yes, but the why of that, I don't think I quite understand
was-
how it got to that.
That was an angry cloud.
There is a ritual ceremony that that I learned to help you with your ghost problem. But I needed to be able to stab the fetter, and I don't have a whole lot of skill with stabbing. So,
Well, you didn't kill me, which is a victory, and it's good enough.
Mr. Monahan was, it seemed to be as close to a fetter as we could get. And I stabbed him, and it released, it made the spirit let go, and it left.
Right. So, is it
And
gone for good now?
I can't say that for certain. I need to continue my research.
I am a bit concerned that whatever did happen to Edwin. Are there any wards that we could possibly put up to make sure that doesn't happen to us? Are there any, I don't know, protective amulets?
The wards that were put up by the Tremere. And the Tremere do not associate with. She kind of just makes a gesture to the room.
Yeah, never
Anymore.
liked them much anyway. Suffice to say, something that can get to a kindred as powerful as Edwin from not only his own sanctum, but without being seen by anyone else, is quite a threat.
Yes, I'm a bit concerned about stepping outside of this Elysium.
They should be. It's raining cats and dogs out there.
Oh, I meant after.
I know. Nonetheless, suffice to say, it's apparent Elysium's not exactly safe, but I don't think we've been tasked with the investigation of it, and I highly doubt they want us on it.
Anything else we do is just going to make it worse for us. Whoever it was that did this picked the right fucking room to do it. Because yes, Edwin's room, no security. So whoever did this, if Edwin was their intended victim, it was methodical. They knew where to hit him. Of course, they wanted somebody to see it happen, or they could have very easily done it in his tunnel. Or they waited until he came out of his tunnel, decided on him.
Could your Louis do something like this? Is this within his accoutrement?
Doubtful, but at this point in time, I don't know what the hell he's capable of. I didn't think he had it in him to desecrate art, but I was wrong about that. All I know is we have to be very careful now. I will admit this isn't the first time I've been caught with my hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. I would say
Yeah.
wrongly, but the first time around, I was planning on robbing someone, essentially. I wasn't planning on killing Edwin. Didn't kill Edwin. But here I am. Bullseye on my backside again.
Well, suffice to say, it seems at least twofold at the minimum. Mainly that there were witnesses, and that Edwin is no longer any sort of impediment to whoever did it. I don't think you just kill a keeper just to fuck with a few more lower end kindred.
It depends on how many enemies you make.
Yes, I mean, perhaps it had something to do with the package that we delivered.
You think they'll give me my saxophone back?
You would have to inquire that with your primogen.
After it is quiet for a moment, some time passes. Feels like an eternity. The door slides open again, and we are going to take a few minute break. Thank you for tagging along so far, and we come back we will see what happens next. And welcome back. Last we left off, you were sitting in a room after having a conversation with each other. After some unfortunate evidence implicates you in the murder of the Keeper of Elysium. The door opens. Gabriel returns into the room, followed by Cahill. Cahill closes the door between the two, returns to his space at the back, and Gabriel takes a seat.
So, I had a nice little conversation with the man in the orange hat. I'll have to say I do not enjoy being lied to. The camera does not put him inside the office or even walking into it at any point. From what the man in the orange hat says, their name being Ezekiel Thorne, that ring any bells to anyone?
No, but I didn't say he entered the room. I said he came by.
I believe your words were, you saw someone coming out of that room.
Cahill speaks up. I don't think they said someone come out of the room, but they said that they're nearby, in the area anyway.
Well, then that would line up. Mr.
Yes.
Halden, can you go over what the conversation is, again, you had with the man in the orange hat?
He was looking for, I'm assuming, Sophie. And prior to interacting with him, she displayed very much that she wanted no part of anything to do with him. So I did my best to make sure she wasn't within view of him. Said that I didn't know who this person was that he was looking for. And then he left.
And then at that point, you two went in to Edwin's office.
We were in Edwin's office. He showed up at the door, and I met him at the door.
Gratitude. But yes, he is looking for his child heir, and he is concerned for them. Mr. Thorne believes that Sophie is uneducated, and he wishes to take her away.
Just because I am a woman of my time doesn't mean that women are uneducated just because of how they are. I am actually becoming a student, so he does not need to procure my education. I am procuring it myself.
As someone who has lived through a lot of the hardships, I'm well aware you seem well educated. It's not as far as your education on this world of Cain, but that of the kindred. Mr. Thorne is concerned, and he wishes to take you under his wing. I am not going to send you off with them, but I do need to let the prince know, as we have already gone over the traditions. This is something that I will let the prince know about. Mr. Maktir will be here, and he will be observing you. Once the storm has passed, you will all be free to leave the Elysium. Do not leave St. Petersburg. Am I understood?
Yes.
Good. Cahill, keep a close eye on them. Let me know if they step out of line. My patience is wearing thin. At that point, he stands up, slides open the door, and walks out.
Son of... I will be right out here. I'll let you know when you can leave. And he closes the door. You remain here for some time. The sound of the storm, muffled, but powerful enough that you can still hear it deep below the building of the Dolly. Finally, as it begins to slow down, the door will open again. Alright. Things have finally slowed down. People are allowed to return to their havens as they wish. Is there anything that you would like me to document or take note before you leave the grounds?
Oh, y'all.
The wards need to be reinstituted once the storm is completely gone.
Also, y'all should probably fix the roof. We kind of fell through it.
Where are the damages? That is not my place, but I will make note.
Also, y'all got my saxophone?
Your saxophone is currently held until the sheriff can review everything.
Ah. Well, I guess there's no helping that.
I would just like to add that when we brought our most recent package under Edwin's request, there were some kindred involved, and some of them have abilities which may have made a situation where perhaps a spirit didn't peel Edwin's skin. If it was a kindred, it may have been one of those who may be upset about their package making it to the Camarilla territory.
So you are suggesting that an anarch managed to get into the Elysium?
I'm merely pointing out that if it seems like a kindred's mess, perhaps there are other kindred with Edwin's dealings that don't involve our coterie. We were not made aware of everything he does. So it may be beneficial to look outwards of just Mr. Halden and I.
I'm going to be frank. There, as the Primogen said, there's a lot of documents that Edwin has on your coterie. A lot of evidence of bending the rules, and Edwin helping to cover them up. Gray throwing parties for children. Bellatrix spending an awful lot of time in the neutral zone, which isn't a crime, but she's a whip. Some concerning documents regarding Duncan, who brought you into this city. Crimes committed by various aliases of Mr. Halden here. Mr. Monahan having already killed a couple of the Camry assets and then murdering someone in the middle of the street. And then he's murdered on the night that allegedly there's a incursion of spirits when it seems there were hunters that were present. Also associated with Mr. Halden. Or tied to, rather. And in the midst of everything, the Keeper is killed. spirits that no one else seemed to notice, and a series of maddened ghouls that could have been drugged by a band of hunters. So it doesn't look good. Unless you can prove that someone else is behind these machinations.
Just one note of question. You mentioned Duncan is involved with something. May I have some more information on that? I'm not aware of any masquerade breaching that he has been involved with.
Give me a charisma persuasion.
Two successes with potentially a bestial failure.
It is not a matter of masquerade breaching. But I understand that the two of you share the same sire. And we received word from the Oracle that there is a not so small chance that Duncan's a diablerist.
Oh, that can't be.
You understand why we can't just take your word for it.
Oh,
And now your grandsire is in town, looking for your sire, and concerned about your well-being. And we know how close you are to Duncan.
yes, and I've been perfectly fine. So we know Duncan's not some involved in diableries.
I suppose we'll see. But until then, you're Halilu. I recommend staying in your havens until things either blow over or the truth comes out.
Edwin was a cautious man, was he not?
Incredibly.
A little paranoid.
Indeed.
I'd check the room a little more thoroughly. Maybe he's got something hidden that somebody might have missed.
As you say, Edwin's paranoid. Edwin was very cautious. He also documented everything because of this. So perhaps an overly cautious kindred looking to assure his safety might have pressed a few buttons, leaned a little too much, applied a little too much pressure, until the people he were leaning on decided to remove him from the equation.
Oh, I meant something that he might have left behind.
We'll take it into consideration.
When I get back to the haven, I will gather the notes that the research that I've been doing on these shades, and I will make sure to get it to you and the sheriff so that you're aware of what work I was doing for Edwin and what had incurred on this Elysium.
That is appreciated. Right then, if you'll follow me. He takes you back upstairs into the main building. Takes you to the exit you guys typically come through. And breaks off from you from the door. It closes behind you. And you make your way to the ascent. You make your way to the ascent. It's dark. The power's out. There's flooding in some of the nearby areas. It's still raining pretty heavily, but the winds aren't nearly as severe. You get inside. The tension could be cut through a knife. With a knife, as you are now alone in a place that you did consider safe for a time. The scene is yours.
Drake is checking the space. Just making sure it's all clear.
Yeah, at the moment, you don't find anything out of ordinary.
Sophie is going to activate Sense the Unseen and take a look around with Drake just to make sure there aren't perhaps any hidden kindred in there.
Does she look at Drake?
I think I would just be walking with you, not really paying attention to you specifically, more looking in the rooms.
I'll leave that up to Devlin then.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Maggie will activate her Oblivion sight and take a look around.
Just a dark building. Nothing out of the ordinary. You don't even see any shades at the moment. It's almost as if they've all receded for the time being.
Maggie,
So turn it off. Yes.
is it possible? I know that you've dabbled with speaking to kind that have passed. Is there a way that you could speak with Edwin, or is it too different?
It would involve them lingering, and usually kindred, once they pass, don't linger. From what I know. But coming here makes me feel like I don't know that much.
Well, he did have a particularly violent passing. Does that perhaps cause more lingering, let's say, to others?
Maggie will look over at Matthew and Sophie, and she will look at them with her the binding fetter.
You don't see anything on Sophie anymore. The spirit that was bound to her is no more. You do not find anything on Matthew either. If Edwin is stuck somewhere, it's not here.
If Edwin is, she'll blink and the milky white cloudy look that was over her gray eyes shifts away, and her vision clears up. If Edwin is clinging somewhere, it is likely within his office. He is not bound to either of you.
Dang nabbit. If only he had a camera in there like he does everywhere else. This would be a very simple fix.
He does not enjoy modern technology.
Doesn't mean he didn't use it.
If only Bellatrix were here, she always knows what to do.
I'm going to bathe. She'll give each of them a nod. Excuse me. And she will head toward the bathroom.
Matthew, you're a bit more experienced with the Camarilla than I have been. If your grandsire were to enact, taking a childer, must the childer go with them, or can the childer emancipate themselves?
Unfortunately, it's not that easy. When I was first starting out, Elena had to be very watchful over me. One wrong move and it reflected poorly on her, as it was with her sire. It's if you're no longer under accounting from the one who made you, they're not responsible for you. If this person is coming for you, they can if there's reasonable doubt that you're sane enough to handle yourself, make themselves take up your accounting. It's the matter of making sure you don't give anyone reason to doubt your own sanity and freedom. Does that make sense?
Right. I don't go near any basements with a bunch of radon. Got it. If in the situation where my sire was in fact no longer accounting, it does generally follow the line to the grandsire. I couldn't say could I get adopted by Charlie or Al or Bellatrix.
I mean, I'm not quite sure, but if they want to take that responsibility, that's on them.
Or you. Could you adopt me?
I can barely be responsible for myself.
Oh, don't be so harsh on yourself. You've been fine. Other than this issue with Louis, you know, your plans. Well,
Yeah, as we
you're
both learned,
fine.
don't really work.
No, but that's not any of your fault. It was extenuating circumstances that you could not control, and no one expects a parent to control things like that, like a hurricane. A parent can't control a hurricane. It's out of their realm of power, unless there are kindred that can control the weather.
I don't think any of us are that good, but he's really got you, doesn't he?
Just, I don't want to go with him.
I gathered that from the brief conversation I had with him. I didn't want to go anywhere with him.
Well, suffice to say, I don't think there's a little bit that we can control, but I'm not sure a lot of it.
All I know is we're now tasked with somehow sorting our shit, doing it quietly, not getting into any more trouble, and somehow doing it without
Without doing it?
yeah, because anything we do
Well, sounds like a good challenge to me. I'm excited.
How does one prove that an invisible entity was to blame and not two people fleeing the scene? Although at the time it wasn't really like we were fleeing the scene, it was more that I did not want my own skin ripped off.
Oh, honey.
I'm sure you felt the same, Matthew.
yes, I like my beautiful pasty complexion right where it is.
Yeah, well, that never really matters to the ones that make the decisions. But they kind of hit on the point. We need to know what we were dealing with there.
If this, if he is my grandsire, he would have similar abilities to my own, and he could potentially be invisible. Perhaps he destroyed Edwin to have a control over me, because if I were seen as a feral beast that destroys other kindred, then he would say that I was in hysteria, and then he would be able to take me away.
Jekyll turned to Matt. She really is shaking like a leaf, ain't she?
I'm just giving a logical explanation for perhaps the invisible entity that brutally mutilated poor Edwin.
Well, you did bring up a shadow man. And there's certainly enough to the myths that there are those that work with shadows.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what caused everybody to freak out the way they did.
Yeah, I think Miss Haywood's gonna have that answer more.
If it was the friends of Louis, how?
I've heard that
Yeah.
rabies can make people go quite wild and act erratically.
Unfortunately, rabies would actually be able to be proven. Maggie steps out. She's got toweling off her hair, wearing a white tank top, and a pair of sweatpants. You see 2 sleeves of tattoos that go down to her elbows. It looks like her skin has been ripped open to show the muscle underneath with bone. The bones of her bicep showing with gems sprouting from the joints. Unfortunately, they were being possessed by shades. The emotions being fed off of and harvested.
Oh, ain't that a lovely piece of art? But yeah, I mean, I certainly can't say one way or the other.
Maggie, I had no idea that you made yourself like an active duty man. Though it is quite beautiful, just surprising. Also, how would you feel about being a mother?
The
There's
levels.
There's this wild look around for like context. I'm sorry, what?
Miss Clues, the jumps you make are truly edifying.
Just
As
curious.
for my tattoos, I got them mostly when I was human. While I was in college. And mother?
Well, we were discussing accounting, and I was considering potential adoption if it were possible, so that I do not have to go with the Hat Man.
Perhaps that is something you can propose to Bellatrix. Her own child is being put on ice, so to speak, at the moment.
Her
So
own?
Accountant,
her
dear.
Sarah. She is taking a nap.
Oh, right. Yes. State.
Okay. There's a look over to Drake and Matthew. Did I miss something?
Yes and no.
Almost got her rattled.
I see.
But yeah, we were discussing that. At least I put forth that we should research in what would be possible to be, what could do what did to Edwin.
There are many options, to be frank. But she will look over to Sophie. Do you know what you could have that could make someone want to own you?
Oh, well, I suppose if they wanted to diablerize my own power, I mean, I'm sure there have been kindred in history who have diablerized their own childer for power.
Oh, most definitely. That's what my sire tried to do to me.
my own was interested in the research I assisted with before I became like this. He wanted a supply that was difficult to cultivate in the way that he wanted. So he utilized my knowledge for that. He also enjoyed my singing sometimes for hours at a
What
time.
did you research?
Oh, well, you see, when you take certain subsets of uranium, you can react them to create electricity. It's very interesting. It doesn't make a lot. It makes maybe a few watts, but it's enough to run things to make, oxygen, scrub out carbon dioxide in the air if you have a isolated, say, air, and you need living creatures, small things alive.
Did you live in a bunker?
If you could even really designate it as that, it was more of a horrid concrete shell with a cage and many rabbits.
Well, we have ourselves our own Mary Curie.
Yes, well, she did study radiation, but not energy in the way that this was. For that you would be you would actually be interested in Leona Wood's work.
Sophie, was there anything that your sire or grandsire taught in regular repetition that may have seemed fanatical?
Oh, not sure about repetition. My sire was very concerned about the end of all things. So I mean, for Duncan, for a long time, Duncan felt very impressed and was very grateful to our sire. I had my problem with it, but obviously they were not Diablerists, so I don't know why that would be a concern. Duncan would never ever try to Diablerize me. We have a very good friendship.
How long were you asleep?
Oh, in terms of asleep, I think it was maybe a couple days travel time by train. So I really was awake most of the time. I couldn't move though in the box when traveling, but that was before I was quite hungry. You see, that was before the change.
Well, that was a tale. Does that bring us any closer to figuring out what did what?
No. Maggie's going to go sit down on the couch.
Well, I mean, I can't say I know much of anything when it comes to it, but I have heard the term Shadow Man before. So, and considering the way you described what happened to Edwin, I mean, I have no idea if what doing is real, but if it is, that sounds like something.
I, I think there was a word for it. It was like ge- what is it? Gehenna.
Gehenna?
Well, he was French, so it was a bit I'm not very good at French, you see, so I don't know some of his words.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
End of days. Sounds like you were part of a doomsday cult.
Kind of a cult, really. It was just the three of us. That doesn't seem very. We categorize that as a cult. It's more he was just a bit paranoid, and from a certain perspective, he thought he was helping us, until suddenly he decided that he had to go east or west. But then he released Duncan and I, and then we made our reintroduction to society and the Camarilla, and I've had a wonderful time since. I do not know if the Hatman has his own little crevice in the ground.
Well, I guess that brings us to what do we do now?
Try
Whatever.
and stay out of trouble.
That's a given. I don't know about y'all. I don't know what your plan is, but I need to deal with my situation ASAP. Because one, if he did cause the ruckus, I need to figure out why, and also why he's hounding me the way he is. And if I can
Well-
stop that, we can at least plug that leak.
You know that
How
I
can we
can't
help?
say for sure. Can't say for sure, but with the way your old pal is focusing on your work, so to speak, and it seems that his timing, it's I could be coming completely off base here, but it sounds kind of Bahari in action. It's not impossible that Louis and Vincent are actually working together on this. But that's a toss out over to the far field.
Well, anything like Alex and his friends. Unfortunately, we're down one person with a really nice rifle from across the road.
No, I can shoot.
We also need to do it without causing more problems than we've already.
I'm just saying I can shoot.
We can't do this with a body count.
I put that together. I'm just letting you know your options.
Matthew, are you aware of this Louis? Does he have any other aliases that he has gone by? He may be using yours up front, but he could still be using his own for private purposes.
Pick a country.
This one?
Then yeah, he's got at least 3. East Coast, West
Alright.
Coast. Yeah.
Can I have those names?
I can give you one. It's pretty much where it started, and we can go from there.
Alright.
And
We can.
give me 1 second.
It's too bad we don't have Nicholas anymore. He was quite good with the screens and finding things.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't think he would be useful right now.
I'm decent with them. I can take a look.
But yes, Miss Haywood, Arthur O'Leek.
Arthur O'Leary. Let's see what I can dig up. If he's still using that name on this over here, it's worth a shot looking into. But this, she kind of gestures around. Emergency services are going to be scrambling. If you have a last known location, it is highly unlikely that they'll be able to see you coming, and you won't. You will also not be able to see them coming.
I'm more worried about seeing them because he seems to find me everywhere.
Matthew, the 2 hunters that you encountered, did they look anything like the police officers that came by the ascent?
Oh no, did they look like the 2? No. I don't think it was them.
Well, this may not be a safe place to rest when it comes time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can
hopefully-
only give you an hour of safety once the sun's up.
Hopefully the hunters don't know about this place, but it might be likely.
With me, I'm going to assume they know.
There's also the fact that, going by modus operandi, that if they were going to do anything to the place, they've had ample opportunity. And it sounds like this Louis has some plans that don't involve an easy, quick death for you.
Yeah, that may be. That may very well be. I cannot say the same of mine for him.
Well, I always thought you'd be fun.
At the door, you hear a knock, knock.
Drake
Sounds.
immediately has a stake in hand.
Sophie will walk toward the door and look through the peephole.
You
Is
don't
it
see
fireman
anything.
this time, honey?
You don't say anything.
Miss Clues, let me take a look.
I will back away from the door around the corner.
And he'll gesture everyone to get further back as Drake opens the door.
You open the door, and someone falls down face first at your feet with a stake in their back.
I did not do it this time. He's also dragging it in quickly.
On the stake, pinned to the person's back, looks to be a piece of paper.
Like Drake will reach down and pick it up.
You killed her.
He passes it around because I don't know what this means.
Sophie's going to look at the body. Is it cold? Does it appear kind, or perhaps torpid kindred?
As you approach, you immediately recognize the individual as Mr. Hodges.
Sophie will run over and kneel and turn Mr. Hodges and try to remove the stake.
It takes a moment, but you pull the stake out. And he kind of sits there for a moment. And then you see movement in his body again. He picks himself up to his knees, looks around the room.
Mr.
My, are we
Hodges?
a little paranoid this evening?
Mr. Hodges, are you quite alright?
Oh, yes, dear. Nothing like a cold nap at the doorstep. Now,
Do you know who did that to you?
no, they stabbed me in the back. I was 2 knocks in, and now I'm in your floor. He gets up on his feet, brushes himself off.
Drake is immediately looking down the hallway.
They're long gone. At least from the hallway.
That's some speed, even for me.
It seems your little group is in a bit of trouble again.
Yes, well, I'm glad the spirits did not wreak havoc on you.
Spirits?
Oh yes, it was terrible, really. Horrible spirits that can flay people.
Shades. There have
Oh, I'm
been,
afraid I wouldn't.
them
Go ahead.
around the city recently.
I'm afraid I wouldn't know too much about that. I simply came to check in on my associates here in the Camarilla territory after the storm has passed. Mostly. But, considering the warm welcome I received, it seems that, despite being physically well, there might be some trouble at your doorstep. Anything that I might be able to be assistance with?
You like jazz?
I tend to spend my time quieting the noise, but I appreciate the consideration.
Already born.
Victor was at Elysium during the hurricane. I do not know what occurred after, as we were a bit preoccupied with being potentially framed for Edwin's death. And Gray is missing.
Poor Gray. No matter, you said that you have been suspected of killing the Keeper.
Yes, it's horrid actually, because
Look at the gall on your lot.
well, we don't really have any way to prove that we didn't, unfortunately.
Oh, you didn't do it.
No.
Drake's gonna walk over to Maggie.
Yeah.
You think?
If
You think that this might be the same type of thing that got Edwin trying to send a message? Because that was a very fast occurrence.
I'm not sure. Have any of us killed a woman lately?
I mean, I did kill my sire, but that was ages ago.
There is Mina, unfortunately, not to bring that up again.
Dreadful business.
What'd the note say?
Drake hands it over.
It says, in a very familiar handwriting, you killed her.
And that's just one more. I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Hodges, that this is on me.
It's fine, I'll get you back later.
Hopefully.
It does seem a bit dreary. Is there something I might be of some assistance with?
Yeah, if you know anything about shadows and being able to kill a keeper without anyone
Well, there are many
seeing while
ways
he's
to
in
kill
the
a
room.
keeper.
Ah,
There are many ways
But-
to kill a keeper without being in the room.
Can you do it in such a graphic manner that their entire body contorts?
I could.
Without being in the room?
It is impressive what a little bit of suggestion can do, but I assure you it would be much more self-afflicting in appearance.
Well, his skin was peeled from him. That is quite afflicting.
Did he do it himself?
It's difficult to tell, really.
I can
we
tell a
didn't
man to
see
peel off
anything
his own
else.
skin, but they have to do it on their own.
it happened so quickly, I'm actually not sure if it could have been him.
You said that he was flayed and then promptly dragged beneath his bookcase.
That's a little out of the realm of possibility of my skill set. But sounds like you kids are in trouble with the law. That
Not
add
my
about up? I say to hell with them. Who needs all this ivory tower nonsense? There's a happy little space a little north of here that you are more than welcome to come to.
I'm
You
more
mean for the
interested
night?
We were just told not to leave the city, and you're now here offering us a way out. This feels opportunely timed.
Not to mention,
Well, I
being able
am
to
nothing if not opportunistic. But, as I said, I was simply coming here to check on Bellatrix. I do understand she has a little one that she takes care of now, and I just wanted to say hello. Make sure everybody's well. It has been some
Unfortunately,
time since I've had a guest.
yes. Unfortunately, her duties have called her elsewhere for the time being. Again,
I'm more
Mr.
interested in what
Hodges. Oh, go ahead, Drake.
I'm more interested in what snuck with all that power of yours. What snuck up on you, was able to stake you in the back mid knock without you noticing, and then was just gone.
I assume it would be whoever it is that gave you that letter, which it sounds like perhaps you have an inkling. So you would probably know better than I.
Mr. Hodges, you mentioned you can cause men, very likely strong men to afflict themselves. Could you convince someone to make an action beyond their typical power?
Miss Clues, I'm afraid you're going to have to be a bit more specific.
Say in this situation you were to incite violence from me being a slight instructor, although I've thrown weights around a bit, could you convince me to cause a lot of violence? Could you incite perhaps a frenzy?
But I'm right here.
And I'm sure you'd be a lovely plaything. What's your name again?
Me?
Yes.
Drake.
The angry-looking cowboy.
Drake. How about you, Glitterbeard?
Mr. Hodges turns back toward Sophie. Now, yes, say I did give you such a suggestion, you would go on a rampage if I so saw fit, and managed to successfully plant that within your mind. But you are still, say I told you, go beat up your cowboy friend. You could certainly try. You will, more than like. But I assume he is probably more adept at this.
Yeah, don't underestimate her. She was able to get a nut shot in, believe it or not.
I believe it. It's... using something like that is usually... requires a bit more subtlety, a bit more study. I wouldn't tell a squirrel to bring down an elephant, but I might convince the elephant to be stomping around because they thought they saw a mouse.
Yes, well, thank you, Mr. Hodges. That is very enlightening.
Well, if you do insist on staying in your comforting little zone here, I simply wish to say hello again, check in on my friends, and extend any hospitality or aid that I might be able to provide. But if you're sure you need nothing, I will return to my walk. Of course, a little more cautiously this time. Do you by chance know where Bellatrix may be?
At the moment, no. As I said, she had business elsewhere, but it's above our pay grade, so we're not privy to it.
Interesting. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you, looks at Sophie again, for removing the splinter from my back. I will get out of your hair.
Yes, well,
Any bows?
thank you for checking in with us. I'm sure at some of us may visit your wonderful home and perhaps partake of your pumpkin spice. You have a wonderful trip back home, and Sophie will kind of slowly close the door on him.
And the door closes.
I don't
Sophie
like him.
will lock the door and turn around.
Is there a bolt on that?
Oh. And Sophie unlocks and checks the outside of the door. I don't any bolts. I don't.
Lock,
no.
honey. A lock.
Oh yes, and she'll close it and lock it again.
Who is that?
That is Mr. Hodges, a friend of Gray's. He had asked me to look into Gray and Victor and make sure that Gray didn't have any harm. Victor, ironic in this situation.
I recall seeing him when we were up in the neutral zone dealing with previous activities. Didn't realize he was a regular ally of the Coterie.
Sure. Do you think he could have incited a little frenzy upon Sarah?
I mean, anything's possible.
I think it's a possibility, but it should not be the first option you jump to in her regard.
It just seems awfully convenient that he was visiting to see Sarah after that situation. I'm just perhaps I'm being a little paranoid. I apologize.
Paranoia is good.
It is strange that he was here offering us some kind of safe haven immediately after we were told not to leave. That did feel like a trap. But I don't believe it. I don't think that he would I don't think the timing on his wanting to see Bellatrix and Sarah has to do what happened with a week or so ago.
Well, no mistake in the fact that the man has an agenda.
Every kindred has an agenda. She'll look over to Matthew. I think anyone that is perceived to be our allies is being watched for such messages.
Yeah, I think so. I have an idea. And, I'm gonna go grab some stuff. And I'll be back.
I don't think you should go alone. I mean, I understand why I'm a bit too loud, but you should not go alone.
I'll go with you.
No, I'm good. I ain't gotta go far. And
I do feel
trust
it's
me,
worth pointing out that someone just staked a guy right outside our door and was gone almost as quickly.
and I would like to point out, and he holds up the note, if they wanted me dead, as you said, they had ample opportunity.
Yeah, point, pretty boy.
Matthew.
I won't
don't
do
think
anything
they-
stupid.
I don't think you would. But I think they're going to try and frame you for doing something stupid, or humiliating, or masquerade breaking, as they have been doing. And as we have seen with my track record, I am very good cleanup.
It wouldn't be the first time I've been framed for something. And the longer we put off dealing with it, the worse it's going to get.
I'm not saying don't deal with it, I'm saying don't do things alone.
I'm just going to grab something and I'm coming right back. There will be no detours. No. Okay. If I'm not back in an hour, you guys know where my studio is.
There's a lot that can happen in an hour.
Exactly. But I'm really quick. So I'll be back before then.
Yeah, well, I'm quicker, and so is whoever staked Glitter
Yeah,
Beard.
you proved that one.
The point is, yeah, they don't want you dead, but they could just as easily just snatch you and start whatever their real plan is.
And I can keep a look out. You won't even know that I'm there. I'll just be silent and not visible to you. It'll be like you're alone, but you will have a little bit of safety.
Fair. You really think they're gonna try something in this weather?
Yeah,
Yes. This is the best kind of weather to get away with something like this.
it's exactly what I would do. And I'm not even as subtle as them.
Yeah, no, we've discovered how subtle you aren't.
Yeah, well, if you this isn't the time to be so willing to offer yourself on a platter.
Y'all act like I'm going out literally to grab paint to paint the bullseye on my ass. Okay,
We
okay.
act like we are currently being hunted by unknown parties that are maybe affiliated with a cult, and like we have all of the eyes of the law enforcement of the St. Petersburg Camarilla watching us.
And they ain't gonna step in to save you, they're just going to make a note.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, at
If
that point,
anything,
they'll have, we'll have lured out the people that are causing this, and they will have seen, oh, wait, they didn't do it. Yes, we'll no longer be their problem, but
well, that could just be it. It would not be above a canned little plan of theirs to just instigate them doing something, or have a way to make sure that you are the perfect bait at the perfect moment.
What are you going to get?
Mina.
This man knows you very well. Do you think
She
he
kind of
knows
holds up
that
the finger to Drake. Are you sure you want to go alone for this?
Yeah. Because at this point, I've done it all. And he'll hold up the note. I just have to accept the fact that he was right.
That was not your fault.
Directly, no. But I kept her involved, even after everything I did. I kept her into my life to hold on to the one thing that wasn't a lie. And all it did was bring a bigger divide between me and the people who just tried to help. Nick wasn't perfect. He had his flaws, but nothing worth anything is flawless. It wasn't his fault either. Not directly. But it doesn't mean I didn't hold some responsibility. So now I have to bear that weight around my neck just a little bit longer. But after this, I think I'll be okay one way or the other.
Well, $10 that you're going exactly where they want you to go, but I'm hoping that I can pay you 10 when you get back.
Will you let me help you carry it? You let me before.
planning on framing me for a robbery and sending me to prison for 8 years?
Kind of checks her wrist. There isn't a watch there, but she's pretending to check the time. I mean, not now, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. All right.
Good,
Hey,
so I'm
Matt.
following you.
I won't. Matt, here's the thing. If there's anything that I know well, it's how you use grief and how you use those harsh emotions of betrayal and pain to enact your will on another. Make no mistake, you're being used in that way. Don't let them have that power. That is your lesson to learn, and one that you can control. The pain will teach you. You've just got to hear the lesson properly and make sure that it's not pulling you around by your dick, if that makes sense.
Fine. Let's all take a road trip.
Oh no, it's just me. It'd be too much of a crowd with everyone. Besides, it'd be weird if there were just 4 of us walking around in this. Though we shouldn't be alone.
Well, I could make no noise and pretend that I don't exist.
No, Miss Haywood's right. I'm too loud and too much of a risk to y'all right now, unless it's necessary. Miss Haywood is capable and quick and can very much enact another plan just things go sideways. And Miss Sophie, you will need to sit and have some tea. And yes, I know that we can't actually have tea.
So
So
Matthew
Bella
got
does have quite a stock around the house.
So, Matthew and Maggie are heading out. Drake and Sophie stay at the Ascent. Is that correct? Okay. As you leave, we are going to transition to our final scene. We follow Kyle MacTier, leaving the Dolly. He travels for a while, on foot, seemingly not concerned about whether or not anybody is following him. He holds a case in his right hand. He goes to the border of St. Pete's territories, a bridge crossing over to Tampa. He hops down under the bridge and enters a hidden door. Travels down a dark corridor. Finally, he opens a door, entering the room. The room, no natural light. A couple of very dim candles that don't really allow for you to see much in this space. He sets a case down, opens it. There's a few dossiers. You see some books and some writings. And Cahill. Alright, that's everything. Edwin Cain is dead. Cam doesn't suspect any involvement. They're looking toward the Coterie. And closes the case. Brings it to the side. It pans to look toward the desk, and you see no real form, just inky shadows with piercing yellow eyes. Well done, Mr. MacTier. Keep an eye on them. Do as the Camarilla tells you. And then report back to me. We pan out, and the door closes. Last we saw Bellatrix was right after deciding to put Sarah on ice for a while. After Sarah had eaten Ophelia. Bellatrix broke away from the group and made her way to Asylum, leaving them to their devices and what happens during the coming storm. We will pick up there. You take the same path you normally do. Take the elevator, going up and entering Alexi's domain.
I would have picked up Ophelia's body and carried it with me.
Uh-oh. Broken. Broken.
She's not completely gone, but I don't know what to do.
What happened?
I wasn't there. I was following someone. They don't really matter now, though. Sarah lost control and ate her, but the thing with her, with Sarah, decided to embrace her, but she's not right.
Not right. Not right. How? Not right. What?
Devlin, would I know what a white is?
You've heard of some instances in the city. You have studied a few things. Yeah, I think you have a general idea of what a white is.
I think she's a white. She's not herself. It's gone.
Broken.
I need help. I don't want to lose her too, like the other one.
Things are progressing faster than anticipated. The girl is a problem. This is a problem. Perhaps Perhaps it's time.
Time for what? And Sarah is currently with a stake in her chest in a morgue, being watched.
She's not important. Not anymore. She's not. She is not important anymore. She's not a piece. This one was a piece. A broken piece, a piece that must become part of the whole, but it is tarnished now. The others that you seek, we must find them before they too can be tarnished, just like we must find all the other pieces. Bella, just like you seek the shards of yourself, you are a shard of myself. Just like I was a shard of Athena's, and Athena was a shard of Pierre's, and so on and so forth.
I've heard something similar. Up close to Boston at, well, it was a horse ranch, but there were lots of us there, and they all thought we were the same. Kind of what drew me to them. Tit for tat, same.
They're not entirely wrong. What they don't quite get is the shards have a purpose to one day be brought back into shape. A destiny for the glass to be reformed, the mirror to be made whole. It has been my purpose since I was created to make the pieces, to bring them together. And when the time was right, to reforge them. And to return him.
I don't understand how my shards are connected. Is it because you made me and I became a shard of you? That they're all connected because of me? Because they're not even one of us.
But they are. See, when the glass shattered, it didn't just shatter amongst the kindred. What we are shattered amongst all kind. Do you know that some believed before we were taken into darkness by the Dark Father, that our Creator was an angel? that Malkav was an angel. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
It's true. That Malkav, in his pursuit of wisdom, in his love of his brother Solid, only seeking to bring wisdom and light to the world, the madness shattered him across all of existence. When he was destroyed, the network he created spread all across the world. So the shards you seek are shards of him waiting to be awoken. We have to make them for him to awaken within them. That's why I made you, because I recognized it within you, just like I made the others.
Oh. So, what I saw wasn't me splitting into 1,000. I was already broken.
We all are.
Is that why he chose me? Took me from my parents?
Yes. But I think it's time for us to come home. I think it's time for our work to continue. It's time for the web to draw closer and the pieces to come together. I think it's time for us to take a little trip and find the rest of your shards. To turn them properly, not by mistake, not by accident. To bring them in, to awaken the proper part within them. And to put the pieces back together.
I'll look down at Ophelia. What about her? Is she lost?
What she's become is twisted and broken and is damaged and will likely do a great deal of harm to you if you were to try and pull it back in, but the mirror cannot be completely reformed if it is missing pieces. The cracks cannot remain. There must be whole. It must be made whole with as much as possible. together, perhaps together, if divided together. Together. We will consume it together. But don't know what remains of the spirit. Consuming the spirit could be problematic. No. It should be destroyed. There is nothing left to be consumed. If it has fallen to such decay, to such a state, it will be of no good to the whole, the mirror. It cannot serve any greater purpose anymore. The shard is lost.
Oh. The last time I lost a piece, I lost myself. I didn't know. Can you make sure I don't wander off again?
I'm here with you now. I can be sure of this. We will find the others, and we will make you feel more whole again. And the more and more together you feel, the less you will wander, the less you will stray.
I'll lean down and brush Ophelia's hair from her face. I'm sorry. We got so close. Okay, tell me what I need to do.
We destroy it. Here and now. Then we find the others. Do you know where they are? Have you felt them?
I know 2, and then I can look for others. 2 are here in the city. We could take them with us.
Yes, we will find them. We will take them out of the city. That is where we will make them change. And then we find the others. We need more. We need many more. For when the time comes to have a party, we will need many, because he will be very, very hungry.
This could take a long time. How long have you been working on this?
My entire existence. The day I was turned, she told me what my purpose was. She set me to task. She explained to me that I was a vessel for him. That it was my task to go forth and assemble the shards, create them if need be. And when the time was right, to bring them together and consume all of them. When she fell into her slumber about a year ago, leaving me listless and purposeless, I wasn't sure what to do. I felt like I had no goals, no direction, like a ship without a rudder, for the first time in a very, very long time. Charlie helped keep me on the right path, keep me distracted. But eventually I knew that the work had to continue. That's what she'd want. That's what he would want. It's what must be done. So it had to start with her. So it did. I needed to know what she knew. I needed to see what she saw. I needed to learn what he taught her. So I did. The only way I knew how. And now I know. Now I see. And now I will do what I have to do.
I came to the city to see if there were other ways. I mean, the thought had crossed my mind before that that was a way, but every time I've researched it, I've heard terrible things.
For others, yes. Because they are not one. They are not pieces of one being made whole again, like we are. We are something broken being put back together. They are something breaking of themselves.
That makes sense. And I really haven't found another way.
Then come with me. Help me find the shards. We'll start with yours. We'll continue with mine. We'll find the others. We'll bring them together. We'll fulfill our purpose. Maybe we'll visit that little farm of yours and see if they truly understand what their purpose is.
Look down at Ophelia again. Aside from the other two, I don't really have anything left here. Okay. I mean, it's all I ever wanted was to join back with my shards and be whole again. I'll go with you.
I knew you would. You've never been truly alone, Bella. I've always been with you because you have always been a part of me. And we have always been a part of him.
It's the cobwebs, isn't it? It's all our connections.
That's right. And now it's time to find the spider.
Okay.
Alexi's gonna turn and move over towards his workbench table. Start rifling around some of the items on the table. Eventually grab a big can of gasoline and one of those like candle lighters. Walk over to the body, pass over the gasoline can and the candle lighter to Bella, then reach down and grab the body of Ophelia and start dragging it over to a door along the wall. Open the door that leads into a little brick panel room. Gonna slide the door or body into the middle of the floor and drop it.
I will carry the gasoline and the candle lighter and follow him in.
Douse the body. Leave a little line going out to the edge of the door. And when you're ready, light the line and close the door.
Okay. I'll douse the body and then stare down at it for a moment. I enjoyed our time together, and like I said, we got so close to becoming one, and I think I will forever miss you. But I won't give up on our quest. You'll be missing, but we'll all be part of a greater whole. We'll be better. I promise. Then I'll pour a line out to the doorway. Take a deep breath and light the line and shut the door.
At this point, Al's going to head over to his computer console, pick up a cell phone that's near the desk, fire off a quick text to Charlie saying, heading out of town for a little bit. If Carmen comes knocking, there are secret reserves in the freezer at Asylum. She can get her fix there. Be back in a couple months. XOXOXOXOXO. Upside down smiley face. He turns back to Bella. It's gonna be okay. I promise. This is what we were meant for.
I realize It was too caring. Not anymore. I need to be focused.
Focus is good. Very good.
Well, as focused as we can be when we're itty bitty pieces of a greater whole.
Make the pieces bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger pieces. When my piece got bigger, the focus got better. Much, much better.
Then that's what we need to do.
Yes. With that, Al will head over to the workbench again, pack a bag, a duffel bag with a few items, head back over to the computer console, pick up a laptop and a few more items, then take Bella's hand and head downstairs, head out the back door of Asylum to a waiting car, hop in the car, and drive away.
As we do that, I will text Lola and Cheryl saying I have a sort of emergency and I need them to meet me at a location as soon as possible. I'll text each of them separately so they don't know that they're being texted together.
First one replies without hesitation. When Cheryl takes a moment, I'm just really settled in for the night. Are you sure? This can't wait.
Please, I need that. I really need help. Something horrible has happened to Ophelia, and I could use some support.
Yeah. Okay, sure. I'll meet you there. And they will meet you at the location.
I may need some help convincing that one. Point to Cheryl. Haven't quite got her in my grasp yet.
Shouldn't be hard enough. Al's gonna dominate them both to get in the car and go with.
Easy enough. You get in the car. You load up the two in the back and begin driving. As you head on, where do you go?
Definitely leaving the state first. Although, not too long after we get out of Pinellas County, Al is going to immediately turn to both of the individuals, drain them both dry, and embrace both of them. After having diablerized Oracle, he is the higher generation, so as he embraces them both, they would be his previous generation. So they would both be 10th generation. And he would prompt Bella to diablerize both of them. And after doing so, they would get on a plane to go to Europe.
Boarding the plane, heading to Europe. Leaving behind the tangled mess that is St. Pete, at least for a time. Far away before the storm hits. And a new storm is brewing. With that, we will bring this to a close. Thank you, everybody, for tagging along. Thank you, Kent. Thank you, Nori. It has been wonderful sharing this story with you, and we will see you all in the next chapter.